Today on Will Bake for Food, I'm going to show you how to make this traditional pineapple upside down cake.
Only food for me. Food, food, food.
Welcome back to Will Bake for Food. Have you ever been flipping through a magazine and all of a sudden you come across the page, pineapple upside down cake, but it looks like a perfectly normal cake and it's right side up? Well, today I'm going to show you why they call it pineapple upside down. You can find a full list of instructions and a full set of ingredients on my Will Bake for Food blog. Now, let's get started. The first thing that we have to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and I've separated 2 eggs. I need the yolks for one part and the whites for another. Okay, now we can get our dry ingredients together. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour here, and I have a half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and we're just gonna put those back here. Baking powder, not baking soda. I'm gonna put that in here and just whisk that together and set that aside. Now that we've got our dry ingredients together, it's time to get our wet ingredient mixture together. So I like to break my butter up just until it starts to coat the bowl here, and then I'm gonna add my 1 cup of sugar in all at once and on slow just until it starts to kind of incorporate. We're gonna let this go for a couple minutes, but now I'm gonna address my egg whites while we do this. I just need to whisk these up and put a little bit of air in them. I'm not making a meringue per se, but I just want to get a little bit of air fluffed up in here. So we're just going to do it by hand and whisk, and I'll show you what they both look like when we're done. So I have my egg whites just frothy, and look at this beautiful fluffed butter. It is so fluffy and beautiful. Now, here are my 2 egg yolks that were separated. I'm gonna stick those in there. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla going into this mixture as well. Give my bowl a scrape one more time. All right, that's looking pretty good. So now we have to start incorporating our dry ingredients and our half cup of milk here. I'm just gonna put about 1/3 of this in and mix it around. Slowly, because it'll puff up. Okay, now, you can see that this looks rather dry, so we're going to go ahead and put half of our milk in here. Now I'm going to put another 1/3 of my dry in, and then the rest of my milk. Then the rest of my dry mixture here. 1 more scrape down, and 1 more whiz. It's more like a cookie dough batter right now, which is delicious. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna slack this up just a little bit with about, I don't know, half of the egg whites, okay? Just a little. So what I'm doing to fold in my egg whites is I'm just cutting down the middle and then kind of going around the outside of my bowl. I like to use silicone for this because it will scrape everything down. If you use metal, it's not quite as good. And wood will tack to the egg whites. So I'm gonna put the rest of the egg whites in here. And remember, we're not making a meringue. We just wanted to get a little bit more air built into that. After I got all of my eggs incorporated here, you can see how smooth and nice this is. Okay, we're gonna let this sit to the side for just a few minutes so that that double acting baking powder can actually start to do its first action, which is to get that chemical balance going there, okay? So I've melted 2 tablespoons of butter in my cast iron skillet here, and I took a silicone spatula and I pulled the butter up the sides of the pan just so that this doesn't stick when it gets on top of here, okay? The next thing that I have here is doing half a cup of dark brown sugar and half a cup of light brown sugar, and I'm just gonna whisk those together. And over top here, over top of my melted butter, I'm just gonna sprinkle this evenly. So we got that all around. Now, you can put that in there, it will not hurt anything. Now I've drained 1 20-ounce can of pineapple rings here. I'm just gonna put them tight in. Took about 7 rings. So we're gonna go ahead and pour our batter over top of our pineapple. I have an offset spatula here that I'm gonna just use to even out my batter, because if you don't, then like this would not be a good cake for sure. So just kind of spread it evenly. So this cake is a low and slow kind of bake. It takes about 45 minutes. So as per usual in my saying, I'm gonna do 20 and turn, and then I'll check it at 40 minutes so that we make sure that we don't burn anything. So between 40 and 50 minutes generally, but 20 and turn. Okay, so I got our cast iron skillet out of the oven. It took about 42 minutes for my cake today. Depends on the size of your eggs, etc. But if you push on it, it kind of bounces back towards you. And I have a little insert, a little cake tester I can insert here, and it's coming out clean. Another safeguard so that we know this comes out evenly is just to kind of loosen up the sides a little bit, so that if any of that brown sugar caramelizes on the sides, it won't hold your cake in. I have a serving platter here that is about a little bit bigger than the diameter of the top of our cast iron skillet. Okay, I'm nervous. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, did it come out? Yay! It came out. So if sometimes I've had 1 or 2 of these things stick on here, it's okay. You can just take a spatula, scrape it off, you know, scrape off there, and put them back on top of your cake. It's totally fine. It will not matter at all. I promise. It will still taste delicious. Now, we waited to put the cherries on here until this moment because you see this on, it would all be caramelized on top of it. So just to give it a little bit more of a vibrant color, we're now gonna put our cherries inside each ring here and just press it in. And that, my friends, is how you make a pineapple upside down cake. Thank you so much for watching Will Bake for Food.
Only food